You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Hello, everybody. That's the lead today. Well, hopefully you all can hear us because I'm not sure if the mic is working when we started. I couldn't hear Aaron, so hopefully everything's going well. It looks like it's good. Sergeant Battle said hello, everybody. Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. And Aaron's giving me a thumbs up in the bottom corner as well. So we're good to go. Yes, welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday and into the Sports Closet Studio. 3 locations, Dan. Can you name them?
Sherwood Park.
Yeah.
St. Albert.
Bingo. One more. Come on. It's a mall in Edmonton, not the biggest one. And it's not on the south side, but it's by where 90% of the people in this company graduated college from. Kingsway Mall.
I wasn't sure.
Get Nation
awesome
there. Yeah. So there you go. Nation Dan's here.
Thank you.
I think the first time you came on the show after Game 7, or was it after free agency?
I think it might have been Game 7.
Game 7, yes. Oh, that's right. Because you came on for like the first 30 minutes, and I think Zach came on and Kuhn was here too. So there you have it, folks. Obviously, not no breaking news from an Oilers perspective of things, but you just said beforehand that you've kind of checked out from hockey this last little bit, and you just came back from vacation. How was that? Firstly, how annoying is it to go on vacation to a warm place? I think you went to Vegas and Phoenix, right?
Correct.
But then to also have it basically the same temperature in Edmonton.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. It's funny to come back to Edmontonians being like, it's so hot here. And I was, in plus 42, 43 degree weather. But yeah, wonderful time to just get away, go down to the land of the Coyote. Saw more Kachina logos in that span of a 4-day trip in Arizona than I ever have in my entire life. It was as if the fans all just came out. I went and did a tour of the art gallery in Phoenix, and there was a guy on the tour with me with a Kachina logo on. So yeah, they're still there. There's still Coyote fans available and existing. And then Vegas is just, I don't know. There's
Vegas was Vegas.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you know me. I'm a footsteps guy. I put down over 150 kilometers of footsteps in this trip.
How long were you there for?
I was in Arizona for 3 days and then Vegas for 3 days with a travel day in between, and we did the damn tour.
It is amazing. Oh, the Hoover Dam. I've never actually been. It's not that close, right?
It's about an hour drive away from Las Vegas, 3 hours from Phoenix, or 4 hours from Phoenix.
Okay. So did you drive Phoenix to Vegas?
Did. I rented a car from.
How was the drive?
Interesting. Americans are fun to drive with. I told my wife that I have to kind of like change my mentality and drop all of the politeness and insert more confidence and just kind of like abrasiveness. So you see somebody
way.
Yeah, there you go. You see somebody coming up at you at speed. They're not going to pass me. I'm going to match that speed and get in front of them. So it was interstate driving at its best, but also came through after the Hoover Dam, before Vegas, came through a monsoon.
Oh,
so the temperature goes from 40 degrees down to like 15 degrees Celsius, in the span of in the span of like 3 minutes. It was insane to watch and just a cool experience to have going through the desert.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I saw on Twitter yesterday, which was about the Coyotes. So obviously they're
Goodwill.
The Goodwill. So for people,
that was their helmet sponsor, by the way, in 2022.
Goodwill? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there you go. Did you guys see the Coyotes donated their leftovers? Okay, but they did donate them kind of. But basically they didn't want to clean up their own mess, so they told Goodwill just to come and get everything. So if you're down in the Phoenix area, I would assume more Tempe.
Yes.
But who knows? Maybe they have like Coyote stores in malls around the city.
Yes.
I would check out a local Goodwill.
Yeah, 100%.
Buy a jersey because they're great jerseys.
I've heard that some of the players did get access to them before they got to the Goodwill store. But yeah, I think there's 4 stores I was reading around that area because I mean, as you know, the Phoenix is kind of Phoenix, but it also has its St. Albert's and its Sherwood Parks that are way bigger than our St. Albert's and Sherwood Parks. So
it's what Edmonton probably wants to be within the next 30 years.
It is Edmonton. It feels so much like Edmonton, being right in downtown Phoenix, right around Chase Field. It just felt like Edmonton, and they're just getting their train lines figured out too.
Oh, they really?
They are.
Oh,
I was like, oh, these train lines seem new. They're like, no, they finished them in 2017, and the other line will be finished in 2025. Sounds oddly familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple of people in there actually, Dan, talking about, let's see if I can find them here. Brian said, I remember meeting Nation Dan in Vegas in the first year there. He was very nice.
Well, hey, I appreciate that. I'm glad that we were able to connect. It's so much fun to be able to talk to people. Later on Oilers Nation Radio, I'll mention I made some new listeners for
really nice.
Oilers Nation Radio, just going into the outlet malls and ending up in hockey stores.
Well, you got to save it, Dan. It's
will.
July. We don't have a lot to talk
100%.
Another one here from Lance saying, good luck on your marathon, Dan.
Thank you.
You're doing the Edmonton Marathon, right?
I announced it yesterday. Yeah, I still haven't figured out all the logistics of it, but I'm running the marathon in a month.
How are you feeling about it?
Pretty freaking nervous. I do run a lot.
What's the furthest you've ran? And how long is a marathon in kilometers? Is it 26 kilometers?
It is 42 kilometers.
26 miles. That's
26 miles, yeah. And so I did a half marathon. So long story, not so short. I started running because of the Oilers. Right. After every Oilers loss, I would run kilometers.
Do you know what I did? Sorry, that was not as productive as yours. I did. I did a shot every time they allowed a goal, and then there was one year I missed a day, and I was like catching up, and they lost 8-1. And I stopped. I did it that night, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Yeah,
your liver probably thanks you for it.
That was a tough one. Sorry,
but that's okay. On the flip side, with my running, it's been able to turn it into something really positive. In May, I ran my first May of last year. I ran my first 10K. Nice. And then May of this year, I ran my first ever half marathon. And then I just I'm one of those guys that's an idiot, and I'll just say something and then just start planning for it and doing it, and this is it. So marathon running next.
What date is that?
That is August 18th. Running along the river valley, like trying to stay, I think, as flat as we can, but running along the top of the river there along Jasper Ave from McDavid's house down to.
Is he going to kick it off?
I don't know. I know where he lives, so I'm going to be waving for sure. I'll say hi to Lauren too.
From his heated patio, maybe from the hot tub.
Well, you got to avoid the driveway in this kind of heat. That's for sure.
That is for sure. Okay, let's. I have a short for giant question for you, Dan, and it's based off. People don't want to talk about it, but I got to address the ESPN list. You're not familiar with it.
I haven't seen it yet.
ESPN put out their top 100 list, but the Sherwood Ford giant question is brought to you by Sherwood Ford. Tired of dealership hassles? Sherwood Ford in Sherwood Park is all about convenience and upfront pricing with their giant deal program. Get clear and no-nonsense pricing on new and used Fords online with all the incentives included. Plus, enjoy the ease of the mobile service, free pickup and delivery, same day or next day service appointments. You can also enjoy a SureBox while you're there, which a variety of flavors. They never put that in the ad read, but I'll always add it for you all because it's a fantastic piece of business if that's going on there.
Well, and for me, Liam, I'll just say the people at Sherwood Ford are wonderful.
The best. They're so nice.
In this day and age of service just dropping away, the service industry and customer service is going away and no more. Sherwood Ford, they'll never let you down.
Aaron put in our
private
chat. Because I botched the ad read on Wednesday. I just did it right off.
I saw him fist bumping for you and everything. Really? He was going crazy.
I was too dialed in. So the ESPN list was released yesterday. We talked about it on Wednesday's episode. Sorry, they did 100 to 25 is where they 26 where they made it to. So yesterday they released their top 25. So this is they ranked the top 100 professional athletes since 2000. Connor McDavid is 98th on this list, which first of all is stupid, as Kuhn pointed out. Mickey 97.
Yeah,
come on, read the room.
I was thinking much higher than that, but I see what you're saying.
I don't think it's unfair that he's that low when you put it in the grand scheme of things. A lot of individual accomplishments, fantastic accomplishments. Don't get me wrong. It broke a Wayne Gretzky record this past year. It's incredible. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup, but I feel like we're just kind of getting into the Connor McDavid era, I guess you can call it. I know we've been in it the last couple of years, but the real thick of it right now.
We have been.
Yes. So this list was released. Number 1 was Michael Phelps, to give people the context. Obviously, record Olympian, 28 medals, incredible career. Serena Williams, number 2, again, fantastic. I'm pretty sure she won a major when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
And then number 3 is Messi, who is arguably the greatest soccer player ever. Just won the World Cup, couple of Copa Americas, numerous Ballon d'Ors. Incredible.
I'm with you.
My beef with this list isn't necessarily Those guys, LeBron the 4, yeah. There's only 3 hockey players on this list. And none of them are from the Chicago Blackhawks or the LA Kings or the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are all modern day dynasties. So we had, I think, Sidney Crosby is on the list. Well, not think, he definitely is. I believe he's 20. Let me pull it up here. Sidney Crosby is 22 on this list.
Okay.
Key accomplishments: 100 NHL top 100 greatest, 2-time Rocket Richard, 2-time Art Ross, 2-time Hart Trophy, 3-time Ted Lindsay, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Conn Smythe, 10th all time in points. The next player is Alexander Ovechkin, down at 55.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ovechkin, 54, sorry. One of the greatest goal scorers ever. Arguably the greatest goal scorer ever. He probably would have passed Gretzky if it wasn't for the lockouts, the COVID, obviously. And then you have McDavid at 98. What other NHLers do you think should be on this list? Because I think you've got to have Patrick Kane has to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
Hart Trophy winner, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, one of the greatest American players ever, if not the greatest American player ever.
Yep.
One of the best goal scorers of his generation. 3 Stanley Cups. Kucherov, I think, could be on this list.
Could be.
What is he? 2-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Hart Trophy winner. 3-time Stanley Cup?
Or
Yeah.
3 Stanley Cups.
3 Stanley Cups, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no goalies. Yeah, no goalies on this list. Maybe like Vasilevsky could have made it. You could even go to LA and be like Anze Kopitar, one of the best defensive forwards to ever play from Slovenia, for crying out loud. The only player, I believe, to ever play in the NHL from Slovenia. It's really set the tone for what it is there. I just think ESPN is so out to lunch with this stuff. And the fact they're like, okay, so I'm going to say this, and I don't mean this in like a negative way, but like there are so many WNBA players on this list, and they're trying to push the WNBA because they now have the rights to it. Why are they not doing the same for hockey? There's so many on this list, and I agree. Those players, I don't know. Yep. But you go through and the accomplishments they've had: 4-time champions, 3-time champions, numerous MVPs. It's fantastic. But you have the same equivalent for hockey players too, and they just haven't made it.
Sorry to
great timing for my question. Literally took Dan's breath away.
Yep, it's 2 things for me. First of all, it's just hockey players in general. I think there's an issue here.
Yes.
Hockey in general, the guys like McDavid, the Ovechkins, the Crosbys, those guys are, I think are even more of proof of the pudding that the debate of who is the GOAT doesn't exist in hockey.
No.
And it's not a fight between even for Sidney and Ovechkin to be the greatest player of hockey of all time, because hockey and its fans and the players have that ability to just kind of recognize nobody is Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. Nobody ever will be Wayne Gretzky ever again. And that's okay. At some point, I think in generations times, as video of Wayne Gretzky goes away and we have more access to footage of Sidney Crosby or Connor McDavid or the insert blank name here of the next phenom, you will start to see some of that erode away. So that's the first part.
Okay.
Second part is when you make these lists, you can't be the one person that makes this list. It can't just be Liam, the intern at ESPN, that makes that list. So there's 2 Liams that sit in a room, but one Liam maybe knows WNBA and the NBA and the NFL more because he's American. And then this Liam knows hockey a lot. But now we can't just do 2 guys because that's hard to put together a list of 100. So now it's 14 Liams in a room. And there's more of those American fans that know those sports than they do hockey.
Yep.
So just to me, like exponentially, you're lowering yourself in the rankings as a sport, and that's okay. Who cares? At the end of the day, it's a list that ESPN listed to try and foment a little bit of
and it worked.
Anger and rage. And that's exactly it. Now, cutscene 2, 5 years ago, if this list had 7 WNBA players and only 6 NBA players, you're going to see a different kind of outrage. So it's just the new outrage here. I'm curious to know, where do they place F1 racers? Because I saw Lewis Hamilton on there.
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton is on the list.
Yeah.
He is the highest ranked one.
At?
I believe.
I know I'm making you do
19.
Okay, 19.
So they call him. So just for the record here, I just did a quick search. You can search words, right, on this. 52 of these players are basketball players. And that is NBA, WNBA.
Yep.
For Formula One or auto racing, there is 2 Formula One races. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time champion.
Yep.
And Michael Schumacher, also a 7-time champion.
Wait, hold on. They have Lewis and Michael Schumacher, but not the current world champion, Max Verstappen, who is
Max Verstappen
unstoppable.
is not on the list, no. But they have 4 auto racing drivers. So they have one fella who's NASCAR, Jimmy Johnson, 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. I don't know a lot about it, but that seems very impressive.
Yes.
And then they have Kimi Antonelli, who is currently racing in F2 as a 17-year-old. This is crazy. He's a 2023 Formula One Regional Middle East and European champion, a 2022 ADAC Formula 4 champion. This cannot be. Oh, he's sorry. That's who will make this list in 2050 when they do it again. I'm like, how is this guy on the list? Yeah, other guys they have on there, that Carlos Alcaraz, Connor Bedard.
But see, and I think that's kind of the point right there to it. It explains it as well. Those are people that we've never heard of, but the Liam that was in that room that was making that list piped up and advocated for that one person in F2 that nobody else cares about, right?
So niche.
But but that F2 racer is now stoked. I'm on that 2050 list. So
I wonder where McGregor is.
It's just content, folks. It's just sports, and it's always going to be a debate, but it's always going to make it hard enough. We have enough hard debates. The chat, I can see. I've seen Martin Brodeur. I've seen Henrik Lundqvist. We can have enough debates about the hockey players that should be included on it, let alone talking about F1 racers. What about volleyball? Is there some volleyball stars?
They actually do have like a lot of
Olympians.
I call them random sports and like Olympians. Yeah, they do. They have a gymnast in there. The believe is Chinese. Yeah, they have a couple of gymnasts. Obviously, ladies.
Yes,
Simone Biles.
Yes, of course.
I was just looking, then I don't think Conor McGregor's on this list, which is kind of a crazy thing because if you want to, I don't know the full criteria of this list, but there is no doubt that people like Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey like really built a framework around what the UFC is today, and I would think that justifies being on this.
And I mean, the best that ever was, the best that ever is, and the best that ever will be. Bret the Hitman Hart's not included on that list, so we've got real outrage. We've got real outrage here, folks.
Ryan says no tennis or golf players. There is plenty of tennis players on the list. I don't know about golf, but Tiger Woods, obviously. I think Phil Mickelson might be on the list too. Which
there you go.
Okay.
But then that's where the sport debate just comes into it, right? Because is golf better than hockey? Is hockey harder than football? You know, all those things.
I think you get to a certain point on this list where it should be based off like individual achievement.
Of course.
And like the top 25, you look through like Roger Federer's 6, Tom Brady's 5. Like, how do you judge what those two would do? Because it's so different. But they were both dominant for so long, and like it really is a game of inches, and you know the cliche term of it, but
at the same time, Federer doing way more work for himself,
time major
versus Tom Brady, who was a part of a team, 56, group of 56. So it's just big debate, and we get to yell about it in the summer.
And there you go. That just killed 10 minutes of our show today.
Well,
fantastic stuff. Okay, let's get on to our player grade, which is brought to you by Spring Financial. Unexpected expenses always show up. Cars break down, home needs repair, kid needs a new hockey stick. Guess what? You can borrow money for those unexpected expenses right now on your phone and receive an e-transfer within hours. Spring Financial offers online loans from $500 up to $35,000 with no stress or branch visits ever. Apply in 3 minutes. springfinancial.ca/ONE. That's springfinancial.ca/ONE/.
Never forget the slash. Is it forward or back?
Just as slash as a word.
Okay.
So
maybe you put the singer and guitar player into the URL.
Maybe you can.
And then it brings up Spring Financial. Wonderful.
Aaron, let's play that ad right now. I like watching it.
Looking for the fastest personal loan in Canada? Well, look no further. Spring Financial offers fully online personal loans with zero stress and no need for branch visits. But don't take our word for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Spring Financial.
Thank you very much.
Spring Financial is the best.
Apply today at springfinancial.ca.
Oh,
now they can.
Now they can hear us. All right, there we go.
We were
I'm going to
just
put in the chat right now, who is one non-hockey player, you have to give me a real answer, who you think should have made the ESPN top 50 list or top 100 list or should have been higher.
I
I don't know.
I don't watch any sports outside of hockey, but yeah, I mean, to me, it's hard to, if I'm taking you at your word, again, I haven't seen this list, that there's no Ultimate Fighters in there at all.
There was a few, like John Jones was in there, GSP was in there, but no McGregor.
See, and
that's the thing, because it's such a long part of it, because it's like, okay, 2000 to today, 24
I was going to ask, yeah,
years.
what is the parameter?
2000.
Yeah, it's 2000.
So, like, yes, like those guys during that. Christine
man.
Sinclair's a great one from Brian.
That is a great
all-time leader in goals for both women and men. Incredible, really. Olympic gold medalist.
That's
one
I
of
mean,
numerous things.
that's what these lists are, is to just create debate.
Hey, and you know when they released it? MLB All-Star Weekend. Literally nothing is going on in the sports world. So I've spent so much time on this, and I know Tyler would not let me spend as much time as I had. So I'll get to the regular scheduled program. Let's get into our player grade for today. Obviously brought to you by Spring Financial. Is Cody Ceci. I was supposed to do this on Wednesday, but I forgot.
Okay, that's all right. I'm here for you.
Cody Ceci, if we want to bring it up on the board here, Aaron. Very controversial season, I think it's fair to say, but got into 79 games, 5 goals, 20 assists, 25 points, plus 12 on the season. I gave his regular season grade a D. I think his playoffs were a C plus, though, which I know would probably spark a conversation. Chance of staying, and now Tyler put this criterion when we did it for Evan Bouchard the other day. The chance of staying, we're going to put it all the way up to the trade deadline. I put it at 30% for Cody Ceci. My reasoning behind the difference in playoffs and regular season was, I think it's fair to say Cody Ceci, was he the Oilers' worst defenseman in the regular season? I just think so many other players played well. Obviously, Bouchard and Ekholm are their own category. Nurse was really, really good until the All-Star break, and then just kind of fell off a cliff. And Vinny and Kulak were kind of just consistent throughout the year. Playoffs a bit different for most people, but let's just talk about the regular season first. Is D harsh? I just think he wasn't that great. And when you look at like the advanced analytics of it, and I know not everyone likes to look at that, and I prefer the eye test too. When you look at it, it kind of backs up that he's not very good or didn't play very well.
Yeah, I think that your statement of he was our worst defenseman is not unfair. I think that that's just natural, that somebody has to be the worst out of the group. I didn't expect it to be him going into the season.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for that to be your worst defenseman, not the worst thing in the world. For me, the more concerning issue is the fact that the second that him and Darnell Nurse came together, especially towards the end of the regular season and into the playoffs, he was an F minus. Like it just lost the plot, and it was bad. And so when I removed that Nurse Ceci kind of chasm that was created, I don't think of him as much of a disappointment. So I think that D may be fair for the regular season. Playoffs, I think even more a little bit. Just as soon as he got away from Nurse, he was consistent and calm and cool and everything we could have hoped for, except for maybe a playoff goal from Cody Ceci.
Yeah, I mean it really was. And if you look in the Greta chat over on in the Greta YouTube live chat, Wise Kyle said B- for Ceci. I'm assuming he's a regular season, by the way, until we get to the playoffs. Sadistic Angel said C-. Lance Kane said B is a fine grade for Ceci. I think a lot of people, and I'm not discrediting anyone's opinion in here right now, the playoffs kind of sheltered what he was throughout the regular season, and the playoffs weren't even that great either. The reason I'm giving him a C+ is I think as a collective whole, like you said, once he moved away from Nurse, and I know that came later on, he was actually pretty good with Kulak. That pairing was solid. He wasn't on the ice for a goal against on the penalty kill, and that penalty kill was fantastic. But we all remember what Janmark and Brown were doing on that top pair.
Of course.
What Ceci did, it was Ceci, Nurse, Fogle, and McLeod. That was kind of the group of 4. Never on the ice for a goal against. I think that's incredibly underrated for what they were able to do. So I think he was solid. Got the goal in Game 7 against the Canucks. Got the assist in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 7. He was solid. Yeah, he was also very bad in moments, and it was very, very evident as soon as him and Nurse went together. I don't know what it is about those two, but they are just like, it's like putting a magnet together.
Fire and ice.
But fire and ice, that's probably a better way. But like when you have a magnet and it's just like trying to push the same ends together, it just doesn't work. And it drives me absolutely nuts that they consider going to it. Mistaken Mexican. I don't get the hate for CC. We've seen it over 2 years. When he's with Nurse, he sucks. When they're separated, he plays his contract. I don't think he plays his contract because when he's not with CC, it means he's a third pairing defenseman, which should be at the most what Brett Kulak makes. He was also a third pairing defenseman. I don't hate CC as much as everyone else. And I think as fans, we just obviously microscope right in on him because he's here.
And the pecking order gets naturally put into your brain, whether you like it or not. You're going to have a top 6. It's just the way it is.
Just the way it is. So would you change any of those grades? The D for the regular season, the C+ for the playoffs.
Like I said, I think I might bump playoff grade up to like a B- just to make it look like it's a better looking grade.
I mean, hey, they went to the Game 7 of Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah.
Aaron putting out a chat too. CC was meant for the C letter grades. CC. It only makes sense.
C. I see C.
And then chance of staying 30%. I have it here. I just think if the others are so cap strapped that if they want to make a move, he's got to be kind of the victim of it, unfortunately for him, especially with what Philip Broberg did in the playoffs. Like, I know you've got 4 left-handed defensemen there, but you can make it work for the time being just to give yourself some cap relief. Trade deadline comes around, you can find a better player than Cody Ceci.
I think that the only thing that kind of helps him and keeps that number higher than the 10% that it could be is the fact that there's a new GM coming in and a whole season of leash to kind of figure out what we're going to do with this going into next year's playoff.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, I think that's good for the CC grading. We'll move on to our Liam's game.
Yeah,
but I'm changing it up today.
Oh,
because we've gone through a lot of players. Quite frankly, it's getting kind of difficult to pick out who we haven't done so far right now. So I allowed Aaron to play around with this one. We were supposed to do this on Wednesday again, but we kind of got carried away with the tier list that we made.
Oh yeah.
But this game is brought to you by the Edmonton Stingers. Edmonton Stingers basketball is back in Edmonton for a 6th season, but their season is coming to a close soon and playoffs are going to begin shortly. Tickets start at just $20. Parking is free. Plus, they have a $5 food and beer menu. For tickets, go to thestingers.ca. That's thestingers.ca. I believe they just have one home game left, which is on July 29th. Let me double check that, which probably would have been a good idea. But I know their next home game, at least one of them, is on July 29th, which is the game we'll be giving tickets away to. So I think we have 2 of these, right, Aaron? Yes, Aaron's nodding his head to me. Yes, we have 2. Oh, yeah, they have one game left, and it is who's that one? Winnipeg Sea Bears, of course.
Naturally.
It's just a polar bear. So I have 2 of these. So I believe one of them is kind of still in the case of one's hard, one's not so hard. Yeah, there you go. The first one is easy, the second one is hard. 3 and 4 are fun.
I can't wait to go 0 for 4. Let's do it.
We obviously got to give away some tickets in here. So we'll do the same rules as regular Liam's game. First person to guess the first one in the chat will get put into the draw. For the second one, the first 3 people. And then, sorry, Aaron, we have a 3rd and 4th? Okay, let's just do, Aaron just said those ones are for fun. So we'll get the first person to guess 3 and 4. Okay. We'll also go into the chat. So we'll have 6 people in the chat today.
Wow.
In the draw. I think that sounds good. Okay.
Pretty good odds.
Okay. Lance is already in with a guess. George Larocque, but he spelled it wrong. Jerome Larocque.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that's
okay. Yep. First one up, Aaron. Who have we got? Okay, so we've got Edmonton to Dallas to Anaheim. So Aaron, just nod your head. The first one I'm guessing is where they're drafted, right? So they're an Edmonton draft pick. Okay. Edmonton. Oh, I know that one. Do you know that one?
My instinct was to say Cogliano, but that's not it.
No, my first guess was Cogliano, but it's the wrong way around.
Oh yeah,
Because he went Edmonton, Anaheim, Dallas, but he also went Colorado.
He did have Colorado in there, and so somebody else was in Cogliano with us.
Someone got it in the chat. I'm pretty sure. Is that the right answer, Aaron? Okay, if someone gets the right answer, just throw it up on the screen. Zach said, Skorkov, future Oilers GM, perhaps.
Wow.
I think it might be. Aaron, have you got the wheel, or do you want me to do it? Okay, Aaron's got the wheel. So there you go. First one, Sean Horkov. So
Liam's
people have
game
an
is
idea.
on point, and it is current.
Yes,
that is awesome.
Okay, next one. LA. Oh my goodness. LA, New York Islanders, Edmonton, and Nashville. Oh my.
This is
so drafted by LA. See, that is almost Ryan Smith's life.
No.
In a way, because he played for LA. I know it's a bit different, but now he lives in Nashville.
Yes, you're right.
So,
yeah. That is the post-career, yes.
A couple of guys guess Ryan Strome. No, Ryan Strome was drafted by the Islanders. He also never played for LA or Nashville.
This is making me uncomfortable when I don't even have like a.
So Aaron, these are all from like 2000s onwards, right? Okay, sounds good. So drafted by the LA Kings to the New York Islanders to Edmonton. Visnovsky played for Anaheim, so I don't think it's him.
Had to go to Nashville afterwards, though.
So Edmonton
that's the real problem.
Oh, I was going to say Matt Hendricks, but the Oilers got him from.
No, that's not
the Oilers got him from Nashville. Not Ryan Jones. The Oilers got Ryan Jones from Nashville. Is it this guy? Do you see this one? Don't say it out loud, just in case. I'll highlight it.
No, I don't think so. No Preds there. This is good.
Okay, Aaron gave us a hint. He said this is a hard one. And
yeah,
it's a defenseman. Reed Schaefer.
It was
not quite.
Okay, I've got a guess, and I think this is the hard one.
This is a hard one. No one's getting it right now. Okay. So really,
I'm gonna guess it's. Can I guess? Is that allowed?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna guess it's Ryan Pulock. Is that
no? He never played for the Oilers. He's only ever played for the Islanders.
Why is that? Wow. Okay. Cool. Why is that in my brain? Got it.
Oh, one person got it.
Oh man,
it's this guy.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it him, Aaron? I just highlighted him.
I wasn't sure because of the drafted. That's what threw me off on that.
Was he drafted by them? I did not know that.
That's what's got me confused because I remember the Edmonton to Nashville transition there. But yeah. I do not remember. I kind of remember the New York to Edmonton part, but I do not remember LA being the one to or to start him. So good job.
Okay, we got a couple of people who guessed it, Aaron. So let's just
man,
it's this guy, right, Aaron? Did Brian get it? Not Dustin Brown. Sorry.
Correct.
There you go. So we'll just do the two that got in. So Brian and Kiwati. So I'll go back here. So
good job.
Grebashev. That's how you say his name, right?
Grabeshkov,
sorry. 18th overall to the LA Kings in 2002, was traded to the New York Islanders for Brent Sopel and Mark Parrish. And then was traded from the Islanders to Edmonton 2007 for Marc-Andre Bouchard. No, he was not even thought about. Bullock was not even thought about. And then the Oilers traded him to Nashville for a guy who's got a lot of screen time on this show in the last couple of weeks, Curtis Hamilton. Do you know how many games Curtis Hamilton played for the Oilers?
One
game. You got a 5-minute major against San Jose Sharks.
There you go.
Okay, so we got two more fun ones, Aaron.
Oh, I don't feel good after that one.
Yeah, let's throw out the two fun ones.
I felt bitter.
That is crazy. What? Oh, I know that one. That's okay. Let's see if anyone gets that in the chat quickly. That is.
Oh, I got it.
That is a marathon one. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue in 30 seconds. He was traded to the Oilers. There you go. Wise Kyle got it. Derek Brassard. Can you go back, Aaron? How many teams is that he played for? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 teams because he played for Ottawa twice. That is crazy. Obviously, great penalty killer. That's why all the teams wanted him.
Imagine, yeah. Oh, there's
that is crazy.
There's suitcases and then there's Derek Brassard.
Yes, PK legend, as Braden said that.
Yes, can never forget his time on the
penalty kill. I know this one.
I don't like this game anymore.
Stanley Cup champion, I believe, one time. I'll give you a clue. It wasn't with the Oilers.
Wow. That really narrows it down for me.
Oh, yeah.
Is it? No, it can't be. Really?
Yeah, it's him. Unfortunately, okay. Put
He won
him.
the Capitals?
No, he won with Anaheim in 06.
I know, but what did he do with the Capitals?
Dustin Penner is the answer, by the way. Aaron, do you want to throw in, because I'm feeling nice today. Wise, Kyle, and Zach both are already in. Throw in Daniel and Ryan S to the draw, if we could, please. Ryan S watches the show every day, so we'll throw him a bone on this one.
But honestly, how many games did Dustin Penner play with the Washington Capitals?
Maybe 20. I don't think he played a full season. I believe it was he might have even played a little bit for the Hershey Bears.
So I don't like this game because I had Grabeshkov. I'm not going to lie to you. I had Grabeshkov in my head.
Yeah.
But the drafting thing threw me off.
Threw you off?
And then that one, I would have guessed Dustin Penner, but who the hell remembers that he played for the freaking Washington Capitals?
He got traded there the same season he was with. He got traded there from Anaheim at the deadline for a 4th round pick, which 18 games, 1 goal, 3 points.
Fun fact about Dustin Penner, tried to get him on as a guest of Oilers Nation Radio soon after he retired.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, no problem. Send me an email. And it was to his assistant.
Oh,
and
no.
The email was Dustin Penner's ass at gmail.com. I'm not even joking.
That is too bad.
It didn't work out. We didn't get we didn't get him on the show.
Okay, Aaron, let's get to that wheel and see if we can give some tickets to you for an Edmonton Stingers game. Spin that wheel. Who have we got? Come on. Oh, okay, Waddy. Okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to email Tyler at thenationnetwork.com.
And ask him why he's not on the show.
He's on vacation right now, but I will text him and say, hey, can you get 2 tickets to this guy? The game is July 29th, assuming you want the tickets, by the way. If you don't, please let me know in the chat, and maybe we can do a spin the wheel again.
Waterfall.
But there you go. There you have it, folks. Kawadi, congratulations. You're going to the Edmonton Stingers game. 7 p.m. The Stingers are 12-7, taking on the Winnipeg Sea Bears. I was listening to Sports 1440 the other day, and I'm pretty sure Stingers are a contender to win it all this year.
Edmonton sports teams.
Everyone besides the Elks.
Wow. They made some good choices this week.
They did do one good thing, finally.
8-33 was the record that
really congratulations
they got to the tipping point of. Yeah. You know what, Liam? It gives us something to build up to. Gives us something to work for.
No kidding. Congratulations to the Edmonton Elks for finally making a good call and firing their head coach.
The blowiest of blowhards.
See, like, I love the Elks. I love going to games.
I did.
I remember right after high school, me and my friends would always have great Friday, Saturday nights going to Elks games. And this is what makes the Stingers, and in the Riverhawks too, the other local teams in this area, so much better than what the Elks are doing right now. They play on the weekends at home.
Weird.
Edmonton Elks, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a bit different. You're a family man. You have a family. I'm obviously don't have a family. I have a girlfriend, and other men is family. They never play on Fridays or Saturdays. I believe they have 4 Friday, Saturday games all season.
Yep.
They've already played 2 of them. They were the first 2 games of the year, the first 2 weekends. And then the next one is September, the Labor Day rematch. I believe it's Saturday. And then the one after that is October 7th. Like, how do you expect young people to come to this? Like, we need young people to come to the games, but you never put them at reasonable days of the week when people, quite frankly, want to go drink at your games and enjoy that in the sun. Imagine this Friday, there was an Elks home game. 0-5, 5-0, 3-2, whatever. No one would care. But they would go. Last year, the Riverhawks, I'm pretty sure, were the worst team in the league. And their crowd was fantastic because they made a great effort of getting people. The Stingers do exactly the same. Tyler's come on this show and said how much fun he had. Aaron's had a great time going because they changed the rules a little bit to make it fun. Elks got to figure it out.
What I was going to say to that is it's honestly like a mercy thing, I think, from the CFL perspective. The Elks are going through it right now. The Elks went through the name change. The Elks went through the turmoil off the field with like with the office
Yep.
and the head office and all of those, like those bad stories that were circulating around them.
Every
And
week.
now you can't win a game to save your life. Winning solves everything. We know that in this city. So I really do think that somebody mentioned it in the chat there that the CFL gave them a bad draw. I honestly think that's part of it. It's just a little bit of mercy.
Year.
I know, and I think that it's a sign that the Elks are a draw other places. People like to watch us get our comeuppance because we were the evil empire for a long time.
Yeah.
And we're just it's not great right now. So enjoy the Riverhawks. Still go out and support the Elks.
Totally.
But they've got time to fix this thing.
If you're looking for a nice Sunday evening. If you
Or
want to wait
Thursday night. Come on, Liam.
Do they
Thursday
play
night football.
Thursdays?
Thursday night football. Let's go.
I just miss it. I miss going down there and just watching Mike Riley. Honestly, that was my era. Like I wasn't really around for Ricky Ray, but like Mike
I was
Riley,
a Jason Moss guy.
Yeah, there you go. Like Mike Riley gets the ball and just like, oh, there's no throw. Okay, well, I'm gonna run 8 yards and then plow over a guy for the next 2 to get it going. Like it was fun. Fred Stamps.
Something happened in
Bowman.
sports, and I can go off on it for a long time, but I do think that the price of entry to the building going too high is where we lost a lot of our things. Raise the price of merchandise, raise the price of the food inside, make me pay $18 for a bottle of water to be able to survive the heat. Yeah. I don't care, but don't gouge me before I get in. That's been my problem. But anyways,
and that's why the Stingers work.
And that's exactly it.
$5 food and drink menu. It's fantastic. Let's do a little bit of a betting talk before we move on to our interview today with Jordan Buhat.
Huge super fan.
Yeah, he loves the Oilers. He's from Edmonton.
Yep.
Tyler spoke of him the other day, so you got a little bit of Tyler on this show as well.
He's had some experience with. I know his family.
Really?
From off camera, of course. But but yeah, he's a wonderful guy and just really worked through that Disney grind that is being a Disney actor and just a really good guy that kept a good head about himself even with all that. Yeah, all that craziness.
I overheard. Well, I've watched the interview. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think he's come to the office a couple of times.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken. So there you go. Let's get into our a little bit of Betway talk right now. With Betway, you can get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. Create an account, scan the QR code on the screen, and redeem your bonus. Place a bet, no minimum amount required. And if the bet loses, you can get a refund up to $200. You can then use that money to bet on your favorite sports. This offer only available in Ontario. Outside of Ontario. If it was only available in Ontario, that would suck right now for us. An Alberta show.
Be an uncomfortable ad read.
Yeah. Sorry, Ontario people. But there you go. Betway, you can head over there right now. There's a bunch of stuff obviously going on. I know none of the major sports besides baseball are really going on in North America right now, but the Hungarian Grand Prix is this weekend. And I know you're a motorsports fan, right? This season of Formula One has been so much better than the last 2 or 3. I think maybe this is the third one. At least the last 2. Variety of winners. The reason people kind of aren't being Max isn't because Max is just speeding away and getting like 20, 30 seconds. It's because they're screwing themselves a little bit more. But Max Verstappen right now on Betway, he's the favorite to win the race. But keep in mind, last year he was typically minus 200, 250 to start. Only plus 110 this time around. Lando Norris had a great season so far, plus 240. If you want to get into the weeds a little bit, Lewis Hamilton just won the British Grand Prix at Silverstone last week, plus 1,200. George Russell as well, 1,200. The Mercedes is looking like it's back competitive again. McLaren, fantastic. If you're looking for a little bit more, I'd maybe look into see if you can get a double-double on Piastri and Norris to finish both on the podium if you're feeling cheeky.
Spicy.
No Hungarian races right now in Formula One, I don't think. No. But have you watched a lot of Formula One this year? What do you think?
Admittedly, I checked out. I was one of the casualties of the last few years of just kind of, I don't know. I don't always want to watch like 2 people fight each other for an entire season and have the eventual winner kind of predetermined. But yeah, no, it's been fun to watch the comeuppance of some of the smaller teams like Mercedes. And I realize Mercedes is not small, but yeah, just seeing them kind of, the pack is closing in on the peloton, so to speak.
Yeah, it's great. Naeem put in the chat there, Mercedes actually had a poor day today. It's practicing already, but
there you go.
It is what it is. I think they've done well. I mean, it was, do you know what, too? Like, Lewis Hamilton, for a guy that has won, I think he has the most wins in Formula One, or is now tied or something like that.
I thought
he has the most.
Him and Vettel. isn't it?
Something like that. Maybe I think he just passed him actually the win at Silverstone.
There's a guy that should have been on the list, Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, incredible.
Sorry. Not to go back to
it's
the
true,
ESPN list,
but seeing Hamilton like get emotional in that moment, like it just kind of shows that like how crap Mercedes has really been the last few years, and like where they were, and like the expectations to fall so low. They're like they're lucky to even get top 5 some races, to finish them, a lot of them, and to like see him get that in England where people love Lewis Hamilton over there. And like I think he's been great for the sport and like changing things in positive ways with his messaging too. See him get that win was pretty sweet.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, yeah, I do believe that a Mercedes, some complacency leaks in there when you're as good as they are for as long as they were. And you're seeing it now with Red Bull a little bit too. Now, like you said, it's not so much a shot at Max and the team as it is the other teams are coming up. But it's just kind of the reality that once you're at the top for so long, it's hard to look around and not be driven to just keep going the same way you've been doing it all along.
Yeah. Naeem said, Hamilton is my goal. Plus, he also uses his platform as a way to amplify important messages. Yeah, I think he does a really good job of all that stuff as well. I do like Max Verstappen. I think he has a pretty bad reputation as an arrogant guy, but like when you win, you kind of got to walk the walk, right?
Yeah, well, I mean,
you can walk it.
That's just it. And like you can love him or hate him, doesn't matter. He's winning the championships, and like like that's part of his package. And if he's going to change that, he's not maybe going to win championships as much.
Yeah.
So, or maybe he wins more, but probably not.
We'll see. Okay, let's get to our interview right now with Jordan Buhat. This will be it from Dan and I. We'll have this interview with Tyler, he recorded earlier this week. It's a fantastic interview with Jordan. Talks about his career in acting, like kind of how it came to be. He's a huge Oilers fan too. So really good interview. And it's brought to you by Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years, and many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. They supply and maintain all major brands like Lennox, Carrier, Goodman, Train, and more. I've never read that line before. It's just
No, you're good.
Visit them at starmechanical.ca to schedule an appointment and let them help you keep your home running smoothly. I probably shouldn't announce when I haven't read an ad read, but that is okay because this is who I am, and I will never change unless they pay me $1 million and tell me to change.
Just like Max Verstappen, if you change that, the formula may break, and we may not have this show anymore.
But there you go. Thank you, everyone, for watching Dan and I for the first 48 minutes of the show. Wow. Enjoy this interview for the next 25 minutes with Jordan Buhat and Tyler. See you later.
Be safe, everyone.
Star Mechanical guest line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can check out more about them online at starmechanical.ca. Excited to bring in one of, I would say, the more popular Oilers fans out there. His name is Jordan Buhat. You know him from a handful of movies. You know him from the hit TV show Grownish as well, which just wrapped up after, I believe, 6 seasons. Jordan, how's it going, man?
Oh, man, I'm great. I'm so excited to be here. Like, it's the summertime of hockey, so I'm just kind of itching for some hockey stuff to do. Though there was something that just dropped like half an hour ago, so that was exciting.
Yeah, we're recording this like 45 minutes after the Xavier Bourgault trade, which is great in the summer. Any piece of content is good. I'm excited to have you on. You're obviously a diehard Oilers fan. For me, again, it's weird to think it's only been like 3 weeks since they lost to the Florida Panthers in Game 7. And sometimes I'll just be like cruising around, doing whatever. Then I'll just have the thought of like, shit, they were like 2 goals away from winning the Stanley Cup this year. That sucks. Are you like in the gym? Are you like getting ready, going over a script? And then just all of a sudden you get hit with the wave of like, damn it, they were really close.
It does feel like it's been a long time. So then when all of a sudden at the ESPYs, comedians are just taking shots at our like being this close away, it's just like, it feels like that was forever ago. And now it's a subtle reminder how recent it was and how close we were. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So honestly, I try to not remember how close we were and just say that, man, there's not much left that we had in the tank. So I've kept it pretty decent since the day.
Yeah. Let's talk about the playoffs as a whole, because you were able to make it back out to Edmonton for a game. I remember that. What was kind of what memory sticks out to you, not just of the Cup final, but of the whole playoff run? Is there kind of one moment that you'll kind of, look back at and be like, God damn, that was the best?
The best was that day that I was able to make it out to Edmonton, because it was the I can't remember which game specifically, but it was the Dallas 5-1 game. And I was able to bring my wife home. Lucy was able to come with me, and we were able to just watch this absolute barn burner of a game. And every single game, I had not experienced a game like this with Lucy, and every goal was just like looking at her, and I'm like, this is the craziest thing that has probably happened in forever. It just felt like every goal we scored was even more special because I got to share it with her. And and then I also remember there was just we've got people who are celebrating hard, and they're bumping into my wife, and she almost nearly took someone else. So that's also a good memory.
Oh, that is good. All right. I'll talk a little bit Oilers later on, but I want to kind of let the people watching this know a bit more about you, because it is not common to see someone who's reached the success you have in Hollywood and in the film industry be from Edmonton. So let's just start there. Let's go all the way back. How does a kid from Edmonton wind up in Hollywood? Never mind wind up in Hollywood at such a young age.
Well, oh my gosh, so many things, Kevin. First of all, thank you. That's really, really, really nice of you. Edmonton is so, gosh, I don't know. It feels like so long since I've lived there, and I guess it's probably been 7 years since I graduated from the University of Alberta. Got my bachelor's there in fine arts theater. So I was in Edmonton all the way up until I was 24. So me thinking I was going to go to LA or make it on TV or in movies, it kind of felt I felt old by that point. I didn't think it wasn't going to happen. I just didn't think that it was like there was a forefront, right? So I thought I was going to do theater in Edmonton and just kind of see where that took me. But I always had this itch to want to be on like the front credits of a TV show, where they used to have intros and have the face of the main cast and stuff like that as a name went across. So I always had that itch, even though I was going through university in like an acting program. It wasn't even for acting. I was going to be a drama teacher and a gym teacher. So it just kind of came about. Like I started going to summer camps, not summer camps, because it sounds like I was in my 20s, but I would go away to New Jersey to train in Shakespeare while I was in university, still trying to hone my acting there. And then the only reason I made it out to Vancouver is because I did have management while I was in university, like a management company, and that I just was able to get. People always ask me, how do you get your agent? How do you get your managers? And I feel like I did it the American Idol way. I never really know how to tell people to do it the really grindy way. I did it by calling in on those telephone lines on the radio when people used to listen to more radio. Be like, hey, does your kid want to be a Disney star? Like those ads. And I called in when I was 21 years old. I was like, is there an age cap? Is there an age like on this competition? They're like, nah, you can come down. I was like, all right. Well, I was definitely the oldest one at this thing by like at very minimum 4 years. Like the oldest ones were like 17, as little as like little. So I don't know if it's like really a thing to say like I won, which is cool, but like that's how I at least think I'm noticed by my agency, and I've been with them for now since 2017. So the opportunity to get down to LA eventually came from them by getting an audition for Post-Grownish, which was called College-ish when I got the audition. And then things just springboarded from there. So it felt like just a big series of things that just happened to happen for me to be able to get out there.
And again, Grownish, you end up appearing on 71 episodes, but it really was like one of the first things you ever did. You mentioned the reason you kind of got down there, and I've heard this story before, so I'm going to lead you into it. But there was initially a problem when you got Grownish that you didn't have like the acting credits to be able to join the guild or the union or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. This was my first gig that I like properly booked via like an audition. So you're right. I didn't have enough credits, and I needed to have credits to join the union to be able to be a part, the union of SAG, Screen Actors Guild, to be able to be a part of the show. So my management company, Play, they were able to pull some sweet strings and be able to get me my first official like 3 credits that would go technically before Grownish to quickly get me on some projects to be able to qualify for the union to be able to go on Grownish. And to this day, like I had one line in Letterkenny in like in season 3 or something like that, or season 4, one line, and people every now and then, especially in Canada, they'll be like, "Hey, I saw you on Letterkenny." And I think I hear that at least from my personal friends, like who I haven't spoken to since high school or junior high. Like I hear that more often for sure than Grownish.
Which is hilarious because it's just like a little throw-in thing. You're like, hey, I gotta like appear in something and get my credit so I can get this Grownish job. Like all that kind of franticness that came into it. Grownish comes to an end now, and you were in, like I said, north of 70 episodes of that show. And I saw your post on Instagram talking about how like everyone there, like what a ride it was. They've become your lifelong brothers and sisters. Is there another part of you that was maybe a little bit like, okay, now where can this take me? Like, is it rejuvenating almost to? Not that you're a free agent, because you're never like not a free agent in your line of work, but was there that sense of like, okay, now what can I do next now that chapter's closed?
That's actually really interesting because you know what? Honestly, when I first got off of it, right, it was because we were doing a new change of story, a new change of the guard, brand new series regulars, because that's what happens with school shows, right? You got to have new students and stuff like that to be able to continue. So like, I'm not gonna lie, it was devastating when I was done. I didn't know, I loved that show so much. I didn't want it to be over. So at first it was just like, man, I wish I could have somehow continued the story, but I totally understand the direction that they wanted to go, right? So at first it was absolute down. And then after that, yeah, I did feel like I was a free agent, because during filming of Grownish for the first 4 years, you know, not to say that there were specific opportunities that I had to turn down, but there were opportunities that wouldn't even get to me to audition for because I was busy. I had to be committed to a show for all of those seasons, and so things wouldn't even reach my desk if they were even who even knows? That's a game of what if there. But it did open the opportunity for me to be able to start doing my first movies. You know, my first horror movie happened after I finished the season 4, where I officially ended my tenure on Grownish. So like that was a huge milestone, being able to do that. And then the next summer, I was able to do my first high school coming of age movie, or the next year anyway. And then moving up to Vancouver and Hallmarks and all this kind of stuff that I didn't really realize that I wouldn't be able to do as much of if I was on Grownish. Now everyone can kind of balance things, but it's definitely a lot easier to be available when you're not booked up for a majority of the year.
You talked about the horror movie. It was Margot. It came out in 2022. What's the set of a horror movie like? I mean, watching it, you're like jump scares, all this stuff. But what's the day-to-day like when you're actually like going through that?
Day-to-day it's just fun, because you're working with special effects and blood, and the directors that I've kind of gotten to know who do horror, they're just like, man, there's a different energy on them, you know, and it's just like it it has this heaviness, but quick and impulsiveness and light. It just feels different than me working on the sitcom. There were so many more opportunities. It was also my very first job after doing Grownish. So, oh my gosh, we have like all of this practical effects of a ceiling coming down and like crushing me and like being like stabbed and stuff like that. So for me, I was having the best time. And I guess no, it was all about the special effects.
Yeah, that sounds like, again, to kind of sit there and watch it and be like, man, how much is going into like, a scene where like a roof falls on you or whatever is crazy. And then I guess like almost it feels like the opposite end of that spectrum is doing, like you said, a coming of age movie, which you did in Prom Dates. What went into preparing for a role where you're playing someone who's much younger than you actually are?
This is so funny because I was very conscious from the day that I booked it that I was going to be playing at very latest an 18-year-old who was still in high school. And at the time I was probably about like 180, 185 pounds. And I mean, there's definitely guys in high school who are like that heavy. I knew some absolute monsters in high school. But for like the specific guy that I was playing, I was like, I feel bigger. I was playing like a soccer captain as well. I was like, I don't exactly look like a soccer captain, but the personality that we had on the audition was exactly what we wanted. So I wanted to just get as small as possible. I ended up losing probably close to 25 pounds to be able to, at least in my head, get as close as I could to realism. Other people may say otherwise.
Fair. I mean, and I follow you on Instagram. You were in the gym a ton as well. Was there a part of you that was like, oh my God, I put in all this work, putting on muscle, all this stuff, and then you're like, God damn, I got to trim right down for this movie?
No, it's very exciting to do that. Like, because when I'm in my off season for the gym, which is mostly like in between movies or when I'm not training for a specific milestone personally, the second I got that movie, it gave me something to shoot for. And I love to just lock in just like that. So I had a goal and I could see it. I knew what I wanted to look like. It was actually really exciting because most of it, I didn't lose that much muscle. I thankfully just lost like a lot of the body fat, which was like a challenge in doing it on my own as well. The first time I did it was for Margot, which wasn't to necessarily get as small as possible, just to get lean for like a summer movie where I'm going to have my shirt off. But for Prom Dates, I did it all myself, which is cool with the knowledge I gained in the past. And I was so proud of myself.
Yeah, that is cool. I was watching the transformation on your Instagram. I was like, damn, that is crazy. So the last one I kind of had for you on the acting and career front of it is like, what's the dream gig for you? And I do think, there are some parallels between like this industry being in sports media and being in acting where, you love your day to day so much that you almost don't even think about like, God, how far can I take this? But for you, when you sit there and you maybe get into a daydream about where your career can go, what is like a big goal you have? What's a style of show or a style of movie that you want to be
in? It changes almost monthly with the new stuff that I watch. And I think that's been something that I've kind of always had. Like when I was in theater school, I would go to like blockbuster movies and I felt very different from a majority of the people who are also in and around that program, where I just love like, oh, what's the new like really fun thing that everyone's really down for. So like the things that pop up to my head right now are like, look, I'd love to be a series regular. Yeah, sign me up, 5-year contract, like what player, what athlete or what actor wouldn't love like a nice contract to have some lovely stability on a show that I would hopefully love. Or, you get your 1-year deal that's worth a little bit more in the short term, but it's probably going to be, it could be like somewhere on location, somewhere different. You're going to be there for a month and a half in and out. If it was a movie, man, I want to do something like action wise. I want to do something like in space. Like that would be so cool to do like a space movie or or like the Epics. Gladiator 2 is going to be coming out later this year, and like we don't have a lot of those anymore. I think that would be a really fun one to do, or a series. So probably somewhere in the action realm, or another series would be awesome.
All right, let's talk a little bit of hockey now. Let's go back to, we did the early days of your career. Let's do the early days of your Oilers fandom. What is your first ever Oilers memory, and who was, I should say, your first ever favorite Oiler?
My first ever. Oh wow, that's actually that's a solid trivia question, because my favorite Oiler is Alex Hemsky, but my first ever favorite Oiler was Tommy Salo. I love a goalie. I feel bad for any goalie, any game that's just getting lit up. I love a goalie. They look so cool. Their masks and all that. Like I used to collect mostly goalie cards when I was a kid. I would just have all my goalies. I love goalies. So Tommy Salo was my first, as well as like my first. It wasn't an Oiler memory, but it was a Tommy Salo at the Olympics. He gets hit in the head with the puck. It goes over him and it's in the net. Like that, I felt, because he was an Oiler, I think, at the time. So I felt bad for him. There, but the earliest memory that's just locked in would be the Alex Hemsky game tying Dallas goal 5-5, and then we lose 6-5 in overtime for sure.
Yeah, on the Patrick Stefan miss, I do remember that one. Right now, I want to know your current favorite Oiler, but you can't say 29 or 97. Like for me, it's, and I think a lot of the fan base, maybe this is your answer. When I see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins score a goal, like the Grinch, my heart grows 3 more sizes every single time. Is there one guy who right now you just love a little bit more than the rest?
Oh, man. Well, my guy who was my 2023-2024 favorite, he's gone, Vinny. So I have to kind of assign a new top spot. I could obviously go back to Nuge as well. He's just been here so long. I give him his stripes. I need Hyman. He's getting close. He's earned so much, and he's done so much. I think with Hyman, I need more nostalgia. We're so in the moment of him that I'm not ready quite to give him that feel. Like one of my friends, he loves Hyman, and he said finally he passed Ryan Smith for him, and I was like, it's too soon. I need nostalgia memories of. I think I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go Ekholm. I love my big defenseman. Like I said, Vinny was my 2023-2024 favorite. He was so steady Eddie. So now it's probably gonna have to be Ekholm. It also ties back to, like, I play a lot of Chell, and Ekholm has been good for me for years. I'll grab any of his cards and use him. So Ekholm.
I like that. And the thing I love about Matthias Ekholm is that he loves Edmonton too. Like I loved when they acquired him, and he was like, again, coming from Nashville, you'd be like, okay, or most players would probably be like bracing, being like, my wife is pissed that we're going. And Ekholm's wife was like, good, proper climate for the kids. Like it's about time we go to a real northern city. And I love that he stays here in the summer and all of that stuff. Last one for you. Oilers have had a busy offseason to this point. Your thoughts on what they've done this summer? Because I know Victor Arvidsson is the guy you would have had a close eye on in LA for a couple of years.
I love that they got Victor. You're right. The second they said that they picked up Victor, I was so darn excited. Like more excited than I was for Hyman, because I didn't have my eyes on Hyman. I didn't know what he could do. But I watched Victor, and I went to a couple of games watching him closely. He's such a dog. You know, he's such a hound on the puck that I forget how small he is. And I hate saying that, but it's for him, it doesn't really seem to matter. I forgot that he does get injured every now and then, at least once a season or something like that. But I think there's really going to be a 6th spot for him, because in the top 2 lines there, where I think he could fit pretty nicely, a lot of the heat's going to go on to the big 2 guys up there, Hyman and Draisaitl and McDavid take a lot of the hits up there. I think Arvidsson's going to have some space. I'm really excited for him.
Yeah, and I think next year is just going to be insane. I think the Oilers are going to, that next year's Oilers team has the potential to like be up there in the 4.3 goal per game range, like, and do stuff we haven't seen in the NHL in a long time. So next year is going to be a lot of fun. Jordan, man, can't thank you enough for hopping on. I love your energy. You are a fantastic out of Edmonton story. You are a fantastic Oilers fan. I thank you again for hopping on.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, and let's go.